Rosie and I grew up together since kindergarten in a conservative area, and she has pretty conservative parents. Rosie was very introverted when I met her. It took weeks for her to talk to me in a normal volume. In contrast, I was a very loud and outspoken child, and over the years it rubbed off on her. Her parents are very nice people and have never said it to my face, but I know they thought or think I'm a bad influence on her. We were in the same school until we were around 14 when she moved away and we lost contact for a while. Neither of us had smartphones back then. We would email every month or so, but she had very limited computer time as well. When we were 18, we got into the same college and reconnected, although we don't see each other often because her studies are very demanding. We weren't as close as before, but we still talked a couple of times a month. I still considered her an important friend. 2 years ago, she got her first boyfriend, Darius, and it was obvious she had never been happier. I had never met him in person, but had only heard good things from her. Her family knows about him and approves of their relationship. But around 2 months ago, she found out that he had been secretly filming their intimacy activities and posting them on porn sites. He did not censor her face, and he had amassed a not insignificant number of followers from these videos. She was mortified and heartbroken, but did not want any of their mutual friends knowing, for fear that people in real life could potentially search and see those videos. Since their social circles are very intertwined, she had no one to confide in, and I was one of the few people who knew. She stressed that her parents could not find out. They were under the assumption that both she and Darius were Christians and were saving themselves for marriage. If they did find out, they would likely cut her off financially. Her mutual friends with Darius did not know what happened, just that she dumped him and it didn't work out. She was very depressed and suicidal afterward, and having dealt with depression and suicidal thoughts myself, I took her out almost daily to check on her and so that she could have someone to vent to. Her other friends noticed she was down, but she attributed it to dealing with the breakup and the stress of impending exams. I don't know what the exams are supposed to be called in English, but it's something like the bar exam for lawyers. It's a big deal. The day she died, I went to pick her up from her dorm for dinner, but she didn't answer her phone or the door. She lives in a single room. I don't want to go into the details, but I was the one who found her. She didn't even leave a note. I had to call her parents and tell them about it. When they came, her mom started shouting that I was a bad influence, that I gave her depression, and implied that I drove her to unalive herself. I heard through the grapevine that Darius told her parents they were only on a break and were working things out, and he has been comforting her parents and helping organize her funeral and memorial. I am disgusted. I want to tell her parents, but I don't want to tarnish Rosie's memory. I also don't think her parents will believe me. I am not invited to her funeral, and I am wondering if I should go anyway. I want to see her one last time, but I'm afraid I might cause a scene if I go. I also haven't cried once since the incident. I think I may still be in shock. I am waiting for the grief to hit me, but it still hasn't yet. I feel like I'm supposed to be traumatized, but all I feel is numb. I don't know if this is the right subreddit for this. I usually read stories like this in Best of Redditor updates. I never expected to be the one posting, but I'm looking for advice on whether to go to the funeral, whether to approach her parents or confront Darius, and if so, how, and I guess just how to navigate this whole situation emotionally. Please let me know if this is the wrong subreddit to post in, and I will post elsewhere. I know Reddit is the first to suggest therapy. I'm on it. I can't afford individual therapy, but I'm on a wait list through my university's mental health program. I don't have an exact timeline for when I expect to be seen yet. To add, I tried replying to all the comments but got a bit overwhelmed. Thank you all for the advice and hugs. I want to clarify a few things and share what I've decided so far, thanks to all your help. Rosie deleted all the videos she could find when she found out, and we talked mostly in person. I have some texts from her saying how betrayed she felt and how exhausting it was to keep up appearances and pretend to be fine, but nothing concrete. I have decided not to go to the funeral. I want to respect her parents' wishes, and it probably wouldn't end well anyway. I'm working on finding out who else Rosie told. She said she only told 2 other high school friends. I did some Instagram sleuthing, and I believe I found one of them. I sent a message asking to talk about Rosie, but she hasn't responded yet. After the funeral, I want to tell Rosie's parents part of the truth so they can have some closure and kick Darius out of their lives. I want to punch his face in, seriously. I hope to enlist the help of Rosie's other friends who have more credibility with her parents. So far, I'm thinking of telling them that Darius filmed her in the shower without her consent and posted them. That way it's 90% the truth, and I wouldn't have to reveal that they had intimacy. I will leave the decision to pursue things legally up to them. I will still try to reply to comments, but I need a small break for now. Talking about this is pretty mentally draining. Thank you all again. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Tell her parents. They may be able to get the videos taken down or at least make Darius face some consequences. If you don't say anything, Darius will do this again. And next time, he will probably even use the story of his poor lost love who ended the life of herself to garner sympathy. Would you be okay with him using your friend's death as an excuse for why he's so distraught that he has to destroy another woman's life? Please tell her parents and mutual friends before any of them stumble across the videos by accident and then think that's what she was into. Comment 2. I am sorry for your loss. You are being accused unfairly. But it's up to her parents to bar you from the funeral if they want to. What are your options? Say nothing, grieve in your own way and in your own time. Write her parents a letter and tell them the truth. Your friend didn't want this. You get to decide if you will honor her wishes or not. You say there are others who know about the adult content situation. Talk to them since they're already aware. Consult a lawyer. Is what Darius did illegal, and can he be charged with anything? Now, for the update. I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything, like a week after Rosie's funeral. I didn't think it would hit me this hard, but damn. I can't even explain how I feel, just that it sucks. The other day, I got a text from one of Rosie's old friends, Mia, asking to meet up. We decided to meet at this small diner where Rosie and I used to go all the time. I thought it was a good idea, just to talk about stuff. So we met there, and it felt weird, you know? Like, this was our place, and now I'm here with someone else talking about her. Mia asked how I was doing, and I just said I'm okay, which is kind of a lie. I'm not okay, I'm just here. Then she brought up Darius, and I could see her face change. She said he's been posting on social media like nothing happened, which made me feel even worse. I mean, how can he act like everything's normal? She's been keeping tabs on him, and apparently he's got a new girlfriend now. This poor girl has no idea about his past. I can't even imagine what Rosie would think if she saw that. It made me so mad that I had to tell Mia everything. Like, the whole story about what Darius did, how he ruined Rosie completely. Mia listened, and I could see her getting angrier as I talked. She suggested we confront Darius together to hold him accountable, and I was like, hell yeah. But we figured we should gather more information first, so we planned to talk to other friends of Rosie's. I reached out to another friend, Jordan, who confirmed Darius's behavior. He mentioned that Darius has been bragging about how he got over Rosie super quickly, which just made my blood boil. I can't believe this guy. We decided to coordinate a meetup with Mia and Jordan to form a plan. Meeting up was good. We all got together and talked about how we should approach Darius without escalating things too much. I mean, we don't want him to turn the tables on us or anything. Mia had this idea to expose Darius by sharing the truth on social media, and we all agreed it was a smart move. We needed to gather evidence of Darius's recent posts as a first step. I spent hours scrolling through Darius's social media, taking screenshots of everything I could find. I was getting a headache from staring at my phone for so long, but I had to do it. Then I stumbled upon this video that Darius posted with his new girlfriend. It was just a regular video of them laughing and enjoying life, completely unfazed by Rosie's death. I couldn't believe it. I shared the screenshots with Mia and Jordan, and they were just as outraged as I was. It made me feel a little better to know that I wasn't alone in this. We started strategizing how to reveal this information to Rosie's parents so they could understand the truth. I finally decided to reach out to Rosie's parents, asking for a meeting. They were still upset with me and didn't really trust me, but I figured it was worth a shot. We met at a local coffee shop, and the atmosphere was just so tense. They didn't even say hi to me. The mom just gave me this cold stare, and the dad looked like he was ready to punch someone. I get it, though. They're still hurting. I explained Darius's actions and how they impacted Rosie, and the mom was all defensive, still blaming me for everything. The dad seemed a little more open, though, which surprised me. We went back and forth for a bit, but eventually the dad agreed to hear more about Darius. I shared the evidence we gathered, showing Darius's social media posts. They were shocked, like their faces were just blank for a second. They realized that Darius's deceitfulness was way worse than they thought. They expressed anger toward him, wanting to confront him about everything. I suggested they contact local news to expose Darius publicly, and at first they were hesitant, but I could tell they were considering it. The following week, Rosie's parents publicly denounced Darius, and it felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. I saw his follower count drop, and I just felt a little happier knowing he was getting some kind of punishment for what he did. On top of that, I started receiving messages from people who supported Rosie. They were sharing their experiences with Darius, and it just made everything feel a little more worth it. Edit, one of Rosie's old friends, Mia, suggested we gather more information about Darius before confronting him. I reached out to another friend, Jordan, who confirmed Darius's behavior and shared his recent bragging about moving on. Am I the idiot for leaving my husband after he called me a loser and sided with his MAGA family? Some background. We've been together since 2016, having met in university. We're also Canadian with no familial or citizen ties to the United States. He is a white male, and I am a person of color immigrant. Politically, we're both leftist, but disagree in the intersectionality of social and political issues, his being class-based and mine being race-based. The past 2 days, I've been in a slump. I have chronic pain issues, and I had been prescribed painkillers that are for people with arthritis, so this medication really knocks me out and makes me spacey. I took this medication the day of the United States election because I had a flare-up. When news of Trump winning was announced the next morning, I was upset, angry, and disappointed, but also just drowsy from the medication. I took another dose the next night because I need to take it for a few nights for the inflammation to go down fully. The past week, we've also had some issues regarding house chores. I'm currently on a 2-week vacation from work, and admittedly, I've been slacking on the chores. I had been burnt out from my responsibilities and had been working 2 to 3 hours of overtime every day for the past few weeks. I told myself that in the second week, I'll start getting things together and do more housework, which I haven't really been doing much of. This came to a boil today when he was upset that I haven't been doing any chores. I admitted he was right. While he was away at the gym, I cleaned the kitchen well and got dinner together so that it would be ready by the time he got home, like he asked. I have no problem doing this since he had cooked the previous night. During dinner, I was still in a mood over the election. Even though we're Canadian, his extended family members are staunch Make America Great Again supporters. Maple Make America Great Again, if you will. And this has been contentious for me as the only person of color in their family circle. Thanksgiving, funerals, weddings, etc. I am the only person of color who isn't the help. His family is nice to me, but do microaggressive things such as 1. His uncle telling me about how he and his dad were egging on their person of color help, who is from the same country as me, by asking her if she ate dog when she lived in our country, and how her snappy reaction was funny. He has told me this story 3 times, once while I was petting a dog. 2. His cousin wears Make America Great Again hats every chance she gets. 3. Some of his cousins and his cousin's partner have never introduced themselves to me at numerous family functions and made me feel unwelcome as a guest. Just to name a few, having met someone in 2016 and being around their family since the rise of Make America Great Again has been difficult and exhausting. Because they are nice to me when they're not doing any microaggressions, he said, they can't be that bad, even though my patience is wearing thin. Trump's win just made me more nervous, more annoyed, and more exhausted, because Make America Great Again does affect my life every day, especially when I'm with his extended family. Luckily, we don't see them as much anymore, and my tolerance for pleasantries is getting thinner. I'm scared and annoyed that his family may become more radicalized, or at least validated. Furthermore, my friends and I have experienced an increase in racism since Infection 19, especially. One of my friends of Chinese descent had a man scream COVID at her just last month. The news of Trump, Make America Great Again, Canadian politics having our own Trump-esque politician, etc., has really gotten me down the past few days. This led to our blow-up. He's sick of me being pouty because the United States election has no effect on me, or shouldn't have an effect on me, and any fears I have are silly. That woman at his work still showed up today. I was gutted to hear this, and we started raising our voices at each other. He then called me a loser and told me to stop crying because I'm being ridiculous. When I said I was hurt and disgusted by his lack of support for me, he said that's a lie and I needed to stop being a loser and grow up. That I needed help and should see a therapist because of how I was acting. He never asked, "Why are you upset? Is it still over the election? Or do you want to talk about it?" Nothing, just shuts me down. When I try to bring it up, I get rejected. He had never been like this until the past 2 years. He took a year off working, he had a lot of savings, so he wasn't relying on me for money, and he had paid back money I loaned him right away the minute he started working again, and was in a bad mental state and started seeing a therapist, which he stopped going to. But while he was off work, I had nothing but been supportive of him. Never have I ever called him any degrading names. I never pushed him to do anything. I feel like this is the beginning of the end for us. I feel like these outbursts, while infrequent, can be severe and hurtful. While he has never laid a hand on me, his words cut deeper. We haven't tried couples counseling, but I feel like he's codependent on me to live a model life for him, when in reality, it's just pushing me away and making me unmotivated. I don't know how to move forward, but some things you can't take back, and I just feel at a loss. I just don't feel safe anymore. I'm starting to be afraid of opening up and having feelings. When I'm scared or feel unsafe, I shut down. But he hates that more. I'm just tired. I don't know if couples counseling will even help us. Now for an update. To those who gave words of encouragement, thank you. To those who commiserate with my problem, thank you. I don't have a satisfying conclusion to this post, other than one foot is out the door. I do hope that this post helps others during these trying, and I really do mean some of the people on this post are trying me. To the individuals who are only specifically replying to this post in this subreddit, I hope you always have the day you deserve. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I mean, it's sad that a near decade-long relationship has to end this way, but there's no reason to put up with a partner who calls you a loser and ridiculous the way he does. Doubly so when you've been supportive of him during his low points. And now he is actively bringing you down and turning his back on you when you need it. He clearly doesn't want to be there for you, and that's just sad. Comment 2. My 50-year-old husband of 20 years sent me uplifting texts all day, held me while I cried when he got home, and surprised me with my favorite cookies and some ice cream while I wallowed in bed. Ladies, seek out better or be alone. Life is too short. Now for the update. A couple of days have passed since the argument with my partner. I spent the day reorganizing my workspace to clear my head. I decided to reach out to my partner to talk about what happened the other night. They agreed to meet at our favorite Mexican restaurant for dinner. At the restaurant, it felt like we might sort things out, but we were both tense. My partner showed up late, blaming traffic, but seemed distracted. I tried to talk about the argument, but they changed the subject. We ordered food, but it was clear the mood hadn't gotten any better. My partner cut in, saying they were tired of talking about politics and feelings. Then, they slammed their hand on the table, making people around us look over. A waiter came by to check on us, sensing the tension. My partner stormed off to the restroom, leaving me at the table. After a few moments, they came back, clearly upset. They said sorry for their outburst, but blamed me for bringing up tough topics. I suggested we leave the restaurant and go for a walk. Outside, I tried to explain how I felt unwelcome at family gatherings. My partner admitted they didn't get how deep those experiences were for me. We argued about their family's political views and how it affected us. Right then, my partner got a call from their mom, which they answered. I overheard the mom making rude comments about me. My partner ended the call quickly, looking conflicted. They admitted their mom had been pressuring them about us. I confronted them about putting family over my feelings. They hesitated, but finally agreed to set boundaries with their family. We decided to go to an upcoming family dinner to deal with the situation directly. The family dinner was a week later. The partner's mom started with small comments that made me uncomfortable. The partner finally cut in, standing up for me and my right to feel safe. The vibe changed as family members exchanged surprised looks. The partner's dad backed them up, saying he wasn't happy with their mom's comments. The dinner ended with some family members feeling uncomfortable. I don't think I ever expected things to get this bad, but I'm really glad they did. I know it sounds crazy, but I actually feel relieved after everything that's happened. Like, I was really worried about being alone and giving up on my partner, but honestly, I'm just so much more happy and peaceful without all that drama. It's like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I know I still have some work to do on myself and with my therapist, but I can already tell it's going to be a lot easier without my ex in my life. So thanks again for all your support. It's been a ride, but I'm ready for whatever's next. Mini update, I ended things with my partner. After the family dinner, we talked and agreed to take a break. But I realized I needed more than just a break, so I ended it. I felt relieved. I'm focusing on myself and continuing therapy. I'm hopeful and ready for new challenges. Am I the idiot for suspecting my boyfriend of sabotaging my study abroad plans and then finding out he might be cheating? My boyfriend and I have been together almost 2 years now. We both really love each other and have a lot of fun together, although we are no strangers to having fights and issues sometimes. I am a college student, and I recently found out that I had gotten into the study abroad program of my dreams. I will be going overseas in January of next year for about 3 months. I knew that my boyfriend would not be thrilled about this, as he struggles a lot with distance and time apart, and he was really upset when I initially told him. He got over it pretty quickly though, and we made an agreement to try and make it work despite the distance. He said he would come visit me while I'm abroad. Anyway, a few weekends ago, my boyfriend and I traveled to my parents' house to stay for the weekend and also to retrieve my passport, as I needed it to apply for a visa in the country I'm visiting. My family keeps all of our sensitive documents in a sealed case on top of our refrigerator, including my passport. When I went up there to retrieve it, the only people in the house were my mother, my boyfriend, and me, who were all in the kitchen together. I distinctly remember grabbing the passport from the case and tucking it in my school bag before walking away to do something else. I never checked again for my passport before leaving that weekend, but when I got back to school, it was nowhere to be found in my bag. My family searched high and low in the house, and they could also not find any trace of it. It should be noted that I also have 4 younger brothers, ages 6, 8, 10, and 18. But I really do not think that any of them would take it. After extensive searching, we realized that it would simply not be recovered. This was a significant stressor for me, as I had strict deadlines when it came to applying for my visa. I ended up having to rush to make a passport appointment and rush to get a new one, which was significantly expensive and stressful. I was quite distraught over all of this, and I would vent to my boyfriend about it frequently, sometimes almost on the verge of tears. He would always say things like, "I'm so sorry, honey. It will all work out though. Don't worry." Thankfully, I managed to quickly receive a replacement passport, not without paying a ton in fees for quicker shipping, and all will still go to plan. I had almost forgotten about this mess when my boyfriend and I went back to my parents' house just this last weekend to visit. Everything was great, and we were all relieved the problem was solved. After I had gotten back to school on Sunday, though, I got a call from my mother. She told me that she went into that case of sensitive documents and she found my passport book at the top of it. The only difference was that it clearly had been tampered with. The actual passport card had been ripped out along with a few pages that had been stamped. I knew it was mine because of a small sticker it had on the back. I was in disbelief. It is possible that one of my younger brothers stole it, but it is extremely unlikely. They are very excited about my trip and are generally very sweet and honest kids. My mother is convinced it was my boyfriend, and I am thinking it is too. I confronted him about this today, and he said he would never do something like that in a million years, and that it would be way too far. I also wonder that if he did in fact do it, why on earth would he return it after he tampered with it? Guilt? I'm not sure how to proceed from here, because I have no solid evidence, but I really do think it must have been him. If he did do this, I would not want to be with him any longer, but I'm not sure if I will ever know for certain, and I don't want to end a relationship over a hunch. So, I suppose my question is, any advice on how to approach my boyfriend or deal with the situation in general? I am in so much distress over this. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I would break up. As long as you are with him, you will always wonder when he will next try to destroy an opportunity you have. Will he go into your email and decline a job offer? Will he mess with your taxes? For now, get a safe deposit box at the bank and put all of your legal documents and sensitive paperwork or anything else precious in the box while you break up with him. He definitely did this. Comment 2. Remind your boyfriend that stealing a federal document is a felony. He has been trying to sabotage your study abroad opportunity instead of dealing with his own insecurities. He ended up costing you money and your trust. That's a deal breaker. Now for the update. 2 weeks after the passport mess, I finally got my new passport. Honestly, I was just relieved to have it so I could focus on getting everything together for my study abroad gig. I had a tight time frame to prep, like less than a month before I was supposed to leave, and I was really trying to stay on top of everything. Well, then my boyfriend suggested we take a weekend trip to a nearby city to celebrate the passport. I was hesitant at first, but he really wanted to do it, so I reluctantly agreed. I think he thought it would help us, but I just wanted to focus on getting ready for my study abroad thing. Still, I went along with it because I didn't want to make things worse between us. So we drove to the city on Friday night and checked into our hotel. That Saturday, we went to a famous museum and explored local shops. I could tell he was trying to keep things chill, which I appreciated, but I felt like I was just going through the motions. We were both trying to be happy and enjoy ourselves, but things just felt off. That night, he took me to a nice restaurant for dinner, which was really sweet of him. Then out of nowhere, he proposed a toast. He was like, "I just want to thank you for being so understanding through all this." I thought that was a really sweet gesture, and I was just glad he wanted to work things out between us. But then I couldn't shake the feeling that he seemed distracted throughout the dinner. His mind was clearly elsewhere. I could tell something was bothering him, but I didn't want to push it. So after dinner, he asked if we could take a walk away from the restaurant. I was a little curious about why he wanted to walk, but I went along with it. During the walk, he brought up the lost passport again, and how he feels like it still affects our relationship. I listened as he expressed his concern over our future due to the distance. He said he just worries that the distance might create more problems for us. I tried to assure him that we could handle it and not to let the passport thing get in the way of our relationship. Later that night, he got a phone call and stepped outside to take it. I didn't think much of it at first, but then I overheard snippets of the conversation. I heard a woman's voice, and I heard him laughing. I was like, what the heck? I felt this pit in my stomach, so I decided to wait by the hotel door for him to come back. When he came back inside, he acted all casual, but I noticed his phone was locked unusually tight. Like he usually doesn't care if I see his phone, but this time he was acting really weird about it. The next day we drove back home and I felt more suspicious than ever. When I got home, I found a message on his social media from a woman I didn't recognize. She was congratulating him on a great weekend. I was so frustrated and confused. I confronted him about it. I was like, "Who is this girl?" He brushed it off, claiming it was just a friend from college reaching out. He said she was just saying hi since they saw each other at a party a few weeks ago. I wanted to believe him, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something else was going on. A few days later, my friend invited me to a birthday party, and I decided to go just to distract myself. At the party, I ran into someone who had also been at the museum with us. I was a little surprised to see them there, but we started chatting. Then, they mentioned how they saw my boyfriend being overly friendly with another girl at the museum. My heart dropped. I asked for more details, and the person shrugged it off as harmless flirting. But I just had this gut feeling that it wasn't harmless. They said they weren't sure who the girl was, but they saw them laughing and chatting together for a while. I approached my boyfriend again, asking about his friend and the message from the girl. I just needed to know who she was. He got defensive and claimed I was overreacting and shouldn't be so jealous. I was like, "It's not about jealousy, I just want the truth." The confrontation escalated, and we ended up in a heated argument where he called me insecure. I was done. I didn't want to argue anymore, so I just walked away and tried to calm down. A week later, I got an unexpected package at my door. It was from my boyfriend. Inside was a note apologizing for the argument. He suggested we go on a break instead of a breakup. A break? I was so confused and conflicted. I put the note down and decided to call my mom for support. During the call, she revealed a shocking secret about her past with trust in relationships. She told me that my dad had cheated on her when they were engaged. I had no idea. She shared that she had once faced a similar situation with my dad and urged me to prioritize my own happiness. I didn't know what to think. I felt so confused and hurt. A few days later, I planned a farewell dinner with my family before leaving for my study abroad trip. I wanted to share my plans with them and just be around people who cared about me. At the dinner, I proudly shared my plans and announced that I was moving forward with my life. My family was really supportive, and we celebrated my achievements. I felt a little better after the dinner. I knew I had a lot to figure out, but I was ready to focus on myself for a while. To answer a few questions, my boyfriend was aware of my study abroad plans for several months before the passport incident. He initially supported the idea, even suggesting places to visit. The other girl my boyfriend was seen with at the museum was not someone he recognized, and he claimed they only spoke briefly. My mom shared her past to help me see the red flags. I didn't have any physical evidence of cheating, but my gut told me something was off. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.